So the Beguiling was another spot that I managed to hit up. Um, I've been wanting to go there forever. They're responsible for the TCAF, Toronto Comic Arts Festival. They've been around for a lifetime there in Toronto. They really focus on small press and indie, but they also have a lot of mainstream stuff. Their store is amazing. Their shop is amazing. Um, when you walk in, kind of the first thing that you hit are some kind of hardcover collections and that sort of thing. But then they have kind of a section off to the right that's a lot of self-published and art style comics, which I think I was saying on Twitter that I could have spent the entire time just digging through that section. They had a wall filled with stuff, and every single thing that I pulled off just looked incredible. They had some boxes as well, some magazine-sized boxes with older, and then boxes where the artists themselves come and kind of replenish. So just an absolute gold mine. The thing sometimes with those art comics is I find the price a little prohibitive. There's some stuff that I was really curious to check out, and you flip it over and you see like an $18 price tag on it, and it's a little prohibitive. I understand, pardon me, I understand why. I totally get it, and it's their stuff, and I'm in no way disparaging their choices, except that I sort of am, because to me, the idea of having something is accessibility, right? So if you've created something, yes, of course, things cost you money, absolutely. But the accessibility and getting things out there to me is the ultimate goal, right? So if that means you take a bit of a loss or you just break even, or maybe you only make a little bit of money as opposed to a lot of money, the fact is that if all of those things were cheaper, I would have walked out with a bigger stack. But because the cost was kind of in those upper ranges for some of these things, I only picked a couple of specific items out to give a shot to because I wanted to, as I said, this is when you first walk in the store. I hadn't even explored anything further. So also in that section, they had a short box filled with underground comics, which got me excited as well. So, I mean, I've been there now for a half an hour, and I've literally just every single head turn, I've nearly collapsed with, holy fuck, holy fuck. It is, if there was ever a store for me, it's this place. So when I was flipping through it, there was also some cards in there that said, make sure that you visit downstairs for more underground comics, which I nearly just lost my mind. It's so strange for me to go into a place, even when I went to, I can't remember, was that in Calgary or was that in Vancouver? I think it might have been in Vancouver, when even going to the shop there, I had to ask to see the box of underground comics. These were kind of right out in the open, easy to find. That's an experience I don't think I've ever had. It's always, I'm just used to asking the people working at the counter, can you take the box from behind the counter that you have there so I can look through your dirty comics, you know? Um, so when you kind of come around the corner and go downstairs, there's another desk there where they'll hold your bags, and they've got more of the expensive books behind them. I saw a drawer that had like Zap comics on the front of it. I didn't even look through any of those or ask to look through those because I'm assuming those would be filled with first prints and really high grade. And I'm not, especially with the undergrounds, I'm not as concerned with high grades. I just want the comics. So when you head downstairs, it's bin after bin after bin of back issues, and then lining the wall are books. This is the place that I'd found online. They sell like Thorgal and a lot of those other cine books. They have some kind of French, they have some bande dessinée as well too. Then they have some of the translated stuff. But again, a lot of that stuff was still pretty expensive. A book of Thorgal, I think it was #1, was $24.95, so kind of the cover price. I was hoping that I would kind of stumble on some of those issues at, you know, even half price, like $10 a piece, and I would have picked a couple up, right? But they had 3 more short boxes of underground comics, and I took a stack from there. And again, all really, really reasonably priced. There was some that were a little more expensive for sure, but for the most part, we're looking $3 to $5 to $6 to $8 range kind of thing for the books. And some of them in less than pristine condition, which again doesn't bother me at all because a lot of these that were in the box I've never seen in person, so that was also exciting. Really great store, really great people. Also in the main floor by the kind of front desk, along the above the front door and around the outskirts of the interior there. They have a lot of their higher priced items or rarer. They had every single Raw magazine there, for example, priced at kind of $150. They sell a lot of original art from artists. They even had a Spain Rodriguez old newspaper, which was really fantastic. They had an R. Crumb page, I believe. They had a bunch of pages from a lot of artists. You can also buy posters from the previous TCAFs. Darwin Cook had done a couple, for example. I didn't pick up any prints like that. It's one of those things, I've seen them online as well too. You can buy them from the store fairly easily. I don't imagine this will be the last time I go to Toronto as well too. So I figure if I was going to buy anything like that, maybe I'll wait till the next trip. So from that kind of indie spot, a couple of things that jumped out at me was this called Body Magic by Scott Roberts. There's kind of the whole image, very kind of art, non-linear comic, I guess, or art comic. Love it. The colors are amazing. It's on this yellow paper. The images really jump up at you. I'm not sure if this is a Rezo print. I don't think it is, because it sure, if it is, it doesn't feel like one. So that's a look at that one. Really, really nice stuff. Like, really great. Love the kind of layering of the images and the effect that gives. Surprised to see a number of Frontier. I believe each issue of this Frontier is dedicated to one specific artist. So this is the Helen Jo issue, and it's amazing. I love Helen Jo's work. I've shown off a sticker or two that I ordered from her in the past. I don't know much about her, and I haven't read too much of her stuff, but I have seen her images in quite a lot of different spots. So they had a bunch of these Frontiers, but again, some of these things, it's just not as accessible, especially when it's like, this is just a collection of artwork. Nothing wrong with that. It's just that if I'm going to be spending this money on stuff, look at that beehive hair there, I want to have a little more than just single images. I'd like to see a comic and that sort of thing. But I couldn't resist. I had to pick that one up. I feel like there was another one, but I don't see it. There was another from these kind of small indie ones. But I'm not... Oh, here we go. Here it is. Chloe Perkis Is Ugly. And this is a mini one. And gather your children around the screen. Get grandma. So there we go. This is kind of a mini comic. And it's ridiculously good. Super in your face. But again, it's these images that just completely blow me away. Really, really love it. But yeah, it's not for everybody. And I get that. I totally get it. I happen to love this kind of thing, especially when it's presented so well. Frames being dropped. Hopefully you can still see me. So that's my cue to maybe almost end this part. But so that was another one. And like I said, the wall was stacked with every single thing that I pulled off of that wall. Caught my attention. Absolutely caught my attention. There was a couple things, that caught it a little less than others. But overall, really, really incredible stuff. This is the other one from kind of this indie, and they had a number of these, and due to my cartoonist kayfabe love, I had to pick one of these up because it's called Read More Comics. So this is, let's see, put down the phone, Read More Comics. This is number 4, and I don't see the name, but it looks pretty great on the inside. Almost kind of Adventure Time-ish kind of feel, not necessarily in art, but there's that kind of feel to it. Silly, fun, and just great. And again, It's called Read More Comics, so I had to grab it just to give it a shot. So I'll end this one there, and then we come back. We'll talk briefly about the undergrounds that I picked up there. I'll be back.